Alright, back out here in the shop. What we got going on right now with the truck. In the last video we got the bed all in primer. So it's time to move on to our cab and start getting the repairs done on the cab. There's a few areas that we've got to make some patch panels for. But for the most part this is going to go pretty quick because we've got brand new fenders since these are in bad shape. And we've got new doors mainly because the bottoms of the doors have some rust in the seams. They may not look too bad from the outside, but when you look on the inside, they've got rust issues. And honestly, for the amount of time that I would spend fixing the doors, you can buy new replacement doors, swap everything over, you've got no rust. You can make sure they're coated and sealed properly to prevent any future rust on the new sheet metal. So that's the route we went with this. The first thing that we're going to tackle on this is the roof. I've already got the roof sanded. I had some help here one day and had them work on that. So the roof has been sanded down. I've got to get this back window out, mainly because I want to be able to get behind this weather stripping to paint and make sure I got fresh paint and everything's cleaned up there and there's no issues, and make sure the window is sealed up properly. So we're going to take that window out of the back, and then I can finish sanding down along there. We're going to take care of the roof as far as any minor body work needs to be done. We're going to go ahead, epoxy it, prime it, sand it, and paint it. So this will actually be the first section of this truck that gets painted, mainly because this is a tall truck, and for me to paint this along with the rest of the truck, I'd have to be standing on a ladder, and I'm not crazy about that because I'd have nothing to lean up against because I have to touch the body. So we'll go ahead and get the roof ready. I can stand in the bed and I can get the roof painted, and then we'll mask off the roof and have it covered over so that no other body work or paints or primers or oversprays get on that. And we've got a nice place right here. There's a body seam where we can do a break in the clear coat, and it will be, you really won't notice it. So it'll be broke there, and on the drip rail is another spot, and then here we have another seam that'll give us a place to do our break at. So you really won't see the transition between this paint job and the rest of the truck when it gets painted. Also, one thing we did do, I got the hood back from our 72 442. Ashton, what do you think about the hood? How'd it come out? Does it look good? All right, thank you. So I went ahead and I got some epoxy primer on this, and I went and did the back side too with epoxy primer, and also did a matte black finish. This is very, very close to the original finish that would have been on these from the factory. So this essentially, underside of this hood is done. So the front part will have to get body work done. There's some issues with a couple of dings and dents and whoop-dees in it. So we'll work on that later, but I wanted to make sure it got coated and it was sealed up and there wouldn't be any problems with it. So we're going to get rolling on this truck, and I'm going to set the camera up and let you watch me take the back glass out. Okay, the way we go about taking these back windows out, they're really not too difficult, a little tedious. You got to watch, be careful, go slow. You don't want to break the glass. But it's just a rubber gasket with a channel, and it sits in a pinch weld that's sort of like, you know, this, and the gasket will fit around it. So using these tools, these are plastic weather stripping and windshield gasket tools. You can get them from this company called Precision Replacement Parts. They sell these, or steel rubber products here in Denver, North Carolina. They have these available. You can buy them online. They're not very expensive. These are good to have. They're great little tools. I use them for a lot of other things other than weather stripping. They're good for prying plastic things, anything you don't want to mar, anything you don't want to mar the paint on, but you need to pry with, you can use these. So what you do is you take these sticks and you kind of work them down into the weather stripping, and you want to just work it down in there, and so you start to pry the glass out of the channel, and you work your way all the way around. You get probably about a third of it out, and it'll almost fall out at that point. You get it to angle. You get it to angle out, and it'll just kind of kick out of the back window opening. So that's what we're going to do here. Let's go ahead and work this out so we can get this glass out and get this roof ready for paint. I do have a bunch of these. I make it a habit when I go to SEMA. Every couple years I'll pick 2 or 3 of these up from Precision. I can also run Steel Rubber Products is only about 20 minutes from here, so I can always run over there to get more if I need them, but I've got probably 6 or 8 of these things that I have sitting around, so we can get these worked in around this corner. Busy right now, buddy. Alright, don't jump in the truck.
Why?
I'm working.
I want to walk. What are you doing?
Look, now camera's on. Say hi to everybody.
Hey.
Say, hey, Bob the Bee, how you doing?
No.
No, he's your biggest fan. Well, hopefully you can see in here. I know it's a little dark, but what I've done is I've got all my sticks, and I've worked this corner out. You kind of you want to work the stick up in behind the gasket. You kind of put it up in here, and then you pry it so it goes down behind the pinch weld, and just slowly work the corner around. And you get your corner worked around, that starts to move the glass out. Now, as I can show you, now the gasket wants to go in fairly easy, come off of that pinch weld. So now I just need to keep moving around all the way around the window, and this is going to help me get the window to come out. And then I can slowly start to remove these out of here. Now I can get this gasket down in here. So now we're working. Now we're getting it out. And the procedure going back in is similar, only it involves rope and a cord and a couple people. So we'll show you that when we go back in. But I'm going to go ahead and work this the rest of the way around and get all this gasket pushed out and get this window out of here. Well, there you have it. That took all of maybe 15 minutes to get that back glass out. So now I can finish up around the window opening where the roof comes down, get that pinch weld cleaned up nice, ready for paint. Check over the roof and see if there's any areas that need some attention up there, and let's get painting on the roof. Okay, spent yesterday getting the rest of this roof cleaned up, and I decided when I started looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and paint the entire back of the cab down to where the brown would be on this. That'll give me a place where I can break the paint at. This way I can get all of the window frame painted in, and I can get the back window cleaned up and get it put back in rather than having to leave it out for any length of time. So this way, if I've got to put the truck outside, it'll still be sealed up. So we're going to go ahead and get this epoxy coated. Take a good look at it with 2 coats of epoxy on it. If it doesn't need anything on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and color coat it and clear it, and that'll leave the back and the top of the cab in finished paint. So we're looking forward to getting some the final colors on this truck so we can see just what this orange looked like when it was new. I had some paint mixed up today. It's a lot more vibrant than what we see on the cab now, so kind of excited to see what it looks like once we get paint on it. Well, we got some epoxy primer on the roof and the B-pillars on the cab, as you can see. Hopefully you can see. I really can't tell because I've just got the camera set up on a shelf so you can somewhat see the roof of this truck as I was painting it. I have no idea where it's pointing. If it's not pointing in the right spot, I'm going to have some funny clips to add into this video. So, I had a couple things happen with this. I made one mistake. I didn't use a strainer when I put my paint into my cup, and it was a little bit of stuff that got in from the bottom of the mix, and it kind of shot out here on top of the roof, a couple little spots. Nothing major. And on the corner over here, on my first coat when I was painting, I didn't have the hose wrapped around the back and up into the bed. I kind of was holding it over to the side here, and it came down between, and it actually rubbed off the primer that I put on there. Again, these aren't major problems, but it is going to require me to let this set up and dry really good so I can get some wet sandpaper, 400 grit, and just smooth out that area where it's got a couple of little spots that you may see, and then come up and hit these nibs here on the roof and knock those down flat. But everything else looks great. I'm going to go ahead after that, wipe it back down, tack everything off, and go ahead and put my color on. Well, it's been almost a week since I put the color on this roof on the truck, and I have to say that it came out really nice. I'm very pleased with the way this clear coat laid out on top of the color. The colors on this truck, there's something you have to love. Well, it wouldn't have been my choice of colors when I bought a vehicle, but I will say that the orange does look a lot nicer in the new paint. It's more vibrant. It's kind of a somebody described it as a Velveeta cheese orange. So take that as you will, but I like it. It's a lot better than the faded orange that was on the truck when we started working on this truck. So I'll give you a look at it, and as you can see, the clear coat. This is not PPG's upper line of clears. It's actually a production shop clear coat that they sell to a lot of body shops. And again, this owner was looking for the truck to look good and have a nice finish, but not a show car quality paint job. So in order to save him some money, because he did have a pretty tight budget with this project, we went with this line of clear coat. It's called a shop line, and it is the Euro Clear, so it does have some good UV protection in it, so the paint should hold up for quite a few years. Even if it's sitting outside, you will want to keep a nice, coat of wax on it to help with that protection, and maybe even buy a cover for it if it's going to be outside sitting most of the time, and that'll definitely help with the paint job holding up on this truck. But that's going to close this video out on getting the roof prepped, window out, roof prepped and painted. And next thing we're going to do is start on the doors and fenders and getting those ready to be cut in, the new doors and fenders cut in, have the paint put on the jambs of those, and then we can start taking the old panels off and transferring all the new panels onto the truck. So again, thanks for following along with this project. I appreciate everyone that's been watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I've reached a milestone. I've got 400 subscribers now, and it's kind of been there for a few weeks, kind of holding steady. We need to keep moving up with our subscribers. So share these videos with everyone you can. Leave me some comments. Tell me about the projects you've got going on. Let me know if you've got questions about anything I've done with prepping the roof and getting this painted here on this project. And again, share these videos, give me that thumbs up, and help the channel grow, and we'll see you again soon.